Hello there, amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to my review on Doctor Who, The Power of the Doctor. And it is a strong 10 out of 10 episode. It is literally strong. It is amazing. I absolutely really enjoyed it. I've got so many great classic Who vibes in this, and that regeneration scene at the end, superb. And I'm going to literally talk about my review on it and what I personally think of it and how good it was. So, the first thing I want to point out, this episode had way out there for special effects. It had a space train that was actually being invaded by the Cybermasters and Cybermen. I absolutely loved it. And when the Doctor's there in the TARDIS and with Yaz and Dan, and they're literally wearing spacesuits coming in to the rescue because the Cybermen are after this kind of powerful entity that's basically disguised itself as a child. I really think that was genius. I get that the whole entity bit was supposed to be so it can go to this massive cyber planet where the Masters basically put his TARDIS but made it convert into the actual planet, which really was a bit odd. I don't understand why the Master did that bit, but it does explain a bit lot later on in the plot, and I really do enjoy it. Now, Sacha Dhawan as the Master, I really pick up Roger Delgado and Anthony Ainley vibes when he was hypnotising those humans with the very long beard, and the way he was actually hypnotising them to do what he wanted them to do was genius, absolutely genius, because I really did get Roger Delgado, Anthony Ainley vibes. The fact when he's captured the Doctor and basically she's inside that Dalek casing and the Master's there literally just doing the big massive disco sort of thing, I kind of got John Sim vibes as well, because John Sim kind of did that in Series 3 in Last of the Time, where the Doctor's there in the wheelchair and he comes in singing, "Say your order, Master stands on high. Play track 3. I can't decide if you should live or ever die." I honestly get that kind of vibes from John Sim's Master in Sacha Dhawan's Master. Sacha Dhawan as the Master, he goes into a pretty more darker element than he was in Spyfall Part 1 and 2 and, of course, The Timeless Children. I absolutely loved it. Honestly, I just really did love it. And I loved how Sacha Dhawan's Master is so much darker and stuff. And the fact we had Asher the Lone Snowman, which basically is kind of a clone from the one we had in Series 12. I really do like that, where the Master literally goes, "I did kind of kill him, but he's forgiven me." How kind of that. I really do like Sacha Dhawan's performance as the Master, I have to admit. Now, the one thing that I really loved at this, we had David Bradley, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Paul McGann back. Yes, 4 Doctors out of 5 I've actually met of these. I've actually met Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Paul McGann. And literally, when Power of the Doctor comes out on Blu-ray, I probably will get this signed by them, because this is where they're inside it in this actual episode, and I absolutely genuinely loved it. I absolutely did love it. So going in from the main plot, I absolutely love the whole space train sort of effect. I really do think Dan leaves really soon. Really soon, Dan leaves, and I wasn't ready for Dan to leave just yet. I kind of wanted him to leave at the end of the episode, but the fact he leaves before it all kicks off with the Doctor having to go to unit after being called by a Dalek, and she re-meets Tegan and Ace, and Tegan's like very angry towards the Doctor, and I kind of get why. She's been there for what, nearly 4 decades, and nothing from the Doctor, and then of course a little Cyberman figurine which basically was left to her because of the Master. The Master gives it to her. Again, I do really enjoy those kind of vibes. Again, we've had so many great callbacks. So when the Master like re-meets Tegan and Ace, he goes to Tegan, "How's your Auntie Vanessa? Do you keep her inside a dollhouse?" Which really is a callback to Logopolis in 1981, which is Tom Baker's final story, which is the first story of Tegan, because the Master did actually use his tissue manipulator to turn it into a small little figurine. And of course, I love the callback to Survival as well, where he's there talking to Ace. And Ace goes, "Last time I saw you, you were infected by the cheetah virus on the cheetah planet." And the Master goes, "Can a man not experiment with himself?" I honestly just absolutely genuinely love that line. I really do pick up a lot of classic Master vibes. For the light out of the Masters, I really do pick up more on Roger Delgado and Anthony Ainley's incarnations rolled in together into this kind of dark, fantastic incarnation of the Master. He's brilliant, he's fantastic, and just superb. Honestly, just superb. I love how he goes like Gallifreyan tech to try and force a regeneration upon the Doctor. And I love the way he goes, well, the Time Lords did it to you once, or quite a few. You don't actually know how many times the Time Lords have done it to you. Because they could have done it from the Roof Doctor to converting it back into a child, to basically to grow up into William Hartnell's incarnation. And of course, the second Doctor was actually forced to regenerate back in the War Games for his crimes of interfering in other people's and planets' affairs. And so yeah, I did enjoy that callback. I have to admit, the Master inside the Doctor's body, by forcing regeneration to making her go, and the Master basically takes over the Doctor, I did actually kind of enjoy that. Now, I absolutely love the Master because in that scene when he comes out the TARDIS, he's wearing McCoy's question mark jumper, he's wearing Jodie's coat, Tom Baker's scarf, a sticker salary for Peter Davison. You really get so many great Doctor vibes from that. So many, like, all of the Doctors. And then, of course, when they all work together, because there's holograms and we have the return of Finder, and Finder points the gun at the Master, and he goes, I love the way the Master goes, you won't shoot me because you're the Doctor's friend. So he literally turns around to thump him, and Finder does shoot the Master. I'm like, yes! And he goes, I'm freelance. I really love that line. I'm freelance. And he's just there injured, and they kind of force him to regenerate, and he's there screaming at Yaz, saying, no, no, no. And then the fugitive Doctor comes out in a hologram, and I really do love that callback where she goes, last time I saw you, you was a tour guide in Gloucestershire. I really love that. I really did love that callback. And then, of course, Jo Martin is still perfect as the fugitive Doctor in this, because she's even a hologram, and the Simon literally just shoot each other, and they're about to regenerate, and Yaz is there with a sonic screwdriver to make the regeneration go in back into his Gallifreyan device, and it actually brings back the 13th Doctor. And I love the way she goes, what am I wearing? I really did enjoy that, and the Master's basically back in his own body, but his own body's failing because the Master's basically put that own body of his through so much, and the Doctor does say that to him. They do go in. I love the fact we kind of had like reconnections to Journey's End, because in Journey's End you kind of had everybody from the Russell T Davies era flying the TARDIS, where in this one you had Graham, you had Yaz, you had Ace, you had Tegan, and of course you had Kate Stewart. I absolutely do love Tegan when she goes, yes, I will go into the TARDIS. And the way she goes in, and the Doctor goes, you coming, Kate? And Kate goes, yeah. I really did enjoy that, because I absolutely do love that, because Tegan, the way she goes, she really don't want us in the TARDIS at the like in part of the episode. She goes, oh, she doesn't really want us in the TARDIS. And then, of course, she goes, yes, I do want to go in the TARDIS. I honestly love the way how Ace gets picked up by Yaz, and she goes, wow, so atmospheric. And I really did enjoy this episode. I absolutely did. And then, after the Doctor basically defeats all the Master's plans and stuff, and the Master comes out of his own TARDIS. Now, the one thing I have to say about the Master's TARDIS, I love the fact it's disguised itself as the Doctor's TARDIS. Now, there's a reason to this. It gave me so many vibes to Logopolis, because in Logopolis, the Master's TARDIS did disguise itself as a police box, and it hid inside the Doctor's TARDIS. So I really did get so many vibes from Logopolis, and especially some callbacks to Logopolis and to Survival, and other callbacks to other episodes as well. I like the fact we had David Bradley, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Russell McCoy, and Paul McGann. But Paul McGann has a third TV appearance as the Doctor. Well, and it technically the Doctor, but you know. I also love the fact we had Paul McGann back. I jumped out of my seat when Paul McGann just turned up on the screen. I'm like, oh, it's Paul McGann. Oh, yeah, I honestly have to admit, I really did enjoy Paul McGann's kind of appearance in this episode. It's absolutely cracking and brilliant. Honestly, it's just superb. I really loved it. And then, of course, when you kind of get into the vibe with more episodes, callbacks and stuff, honestly, I loved it. The fact the Master basically damages the Doctor's body and the Doctor's just there regenerate. Again, I kind of like how it's a different regeneration to what we've previously had. So the Doctor does kind of hold back the regeneration. She drops Ace and Yaz, drops everybody off and then takes the Doctor. And the Doctor says, I need to go and regenerate on my own. I do kind of wish they had a proper goodbye scene, and not where she just drops Yaz and she's just there standing at the TARDIS and her hands glowing and she closes the TARDIS door. I would have personally liked to see Yaz die, because I really think that would have been a big consequence to the Doctor. But there we go, if she died, we wouldn't have had that epic scene what we did with all of the classic companions, because we had a fantastic sort of companion sort of circle thing. I like you're an alcoholic. I don't know what they call them, but the fact is, though, you actually had William Russell back as Ian Chesterton. I mean, the actor is 98 years old, and he was back in this episode as Ian Chesterton. I honestly loved it. I love the fact we had Bonnie Langford back as Mel, which is a kind of confusion, because the last time we see Bonnie Langford on screen, she went off with Savalon Glitz. And I don't know a lot about Big Finish. I don't know if she actually went travelling back with the Doctor, and then the Doctor just dropped her off on Earth. I need to go and dive into more Big Finish stuff so I can find out what happens to Mel. But last time we saw her on screen, she literally went off with Savalon Glitz. I love the fact we had Katie Manning back as Jo Jones, or as I like to call her, Jo Grant. We had Jo Grant back. We also had Kay. We had Tegan. We had Ace there as well. And the fact Yaz was sitting in between Tegan and Ace, and you kind of got Graham talking about the Doctor and the adventures. And then, of course, Dan says, I will miss her. And Ian just goes, excuse me, did you say her? I really love that. I absolutely loved it. And the way they're talking, the whole regeneration effect was brilliant. Just superb. Just superb. I love the way how the Doctor's out of the TARDIS looking into the sun, and they kind of play Jodie Whittaker's theme, and she basically stands there regenerating. One thing that really bugs me, why did her clothes change? Why did it went straight into Tennant's 60th anniversary costume? Because Tennant is back. He's back. He's the 14th Doctor. So basically, Tennant is now the 10th and, of course, the 14th Doctors. But I do kind of like it where he goes, hang on, I recognise these teeth. And he goes, what? 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 I really do enjoy that. I actually have to admit, when Tennant came back on screen, for some reason, I just got hyped. And I literally just jumped out my chair, full on pumped up for it. And I'm like, hang on, Tennant's my least favourite Doctor. I mean, I don't like the lovey-dovey stuff, but seeing him back, I just jumped out of my seat with excitement, and I don't really understand why. But maybe because it's a different sort of regeneration, you know, because the clothes did change, and it is a past face, and Tennant's basically the 14th. Well, technically, because he had his 10th and 11th incarnations, because of his regeneration into his spare hand, back dealing with the Daleks and Davros in Story on Earth and Journey's End, which basically had his 10th and 11th incarnations to go. The 11th Doctor was his 12th and final incarnation. But to actually have Tennant as technically as his 10th incarnation, his 11th incarnation, and possibly his 14th or 16th. Hang on, Capaldi was actually recognised as the 13th. 15th, yeah. So basically Tennant is in his 15th incarnation. So really, David Tennant is playing the 10th, and he's played the 10th, and he's playing the 14th incarnations of the Doctor. Ncuti Gatwa, I absolutely think he's going to be the 15th Doctor now. I really do think he's going to be the 15th Doctor because of the trailer that we had at the end of the episode. Honestly, I really enjoyed this episode. It's absolutely superb. I love the fact we had David Bradley, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Cecil McCoy, and Paul McGann back. I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't see Tom Baker, but I really can understand that because Tom Baker is getting to the point now where he's old. I understand he's pulled out of doing some conventions and Comic Cons now, which is a bit of a shame because I really do want to meet Tom Baker and get him to sign some of my favourite stories of his. I mean, it's my favourite Doctor. I mean, look at that. Look on my wall. See? I've got my favourite Doctor there. Honestly, I just absolutely did enjoy the power of the Doctor. So, what do you think of Doctor Who, The Power of the Doctor? Is it one of your favourite episodes? Did you enjoy it? What do you think of it as all of the regenerations from Modern Who? For me, I have to say, it's kind of took over Twice Upon a Time. Because when I did my ranking video and I said Twice Upon a Time was in second place, honestly, this one, I stuck over that because I really enjoyed it more than Twice Upon a Time. I absolutely love the fact we kind of had the Master, we had Daleks and Salmon together, which basically leads the Master into another regeneration story for the Doctor, because his first full-on regeneration story with the Doctor was in Logopolis. Then it was, of course, the TV movie. And then the end of time, and then World Nothing Time and the Doctor Falls. So technically the Master's been in the Doctor's regeneration stories 4 times now, where the Cybermen have only been it 3. 10th Planet, World Nothing Time and the Doctor Falls, and now this episode, The Power of the Doctor, where the Daleks was only in Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways for a regeneration story. So, really, this episode was really, really fantastic, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, am I hyped that we got David Tennant back? To be honest with you, yeah. You know, I'm hoping that with him being the 14th Doctor, we've got no lovey-dovey stuff. It's all no new fantastic stuff. I cannot wait to see what 2023 brings for Doctor Who. I'm really looking forward to it. I really love that trailer as well, where you kind of had Tennant with a few clips with Catherine Tate. And of course, we had Ncuti Gatwa wearing Tennant's kind of outfit with the shirt, and he's took off the tie. I really like the way he goes, what the hell's going on here? I absolutely loved it. Well, let me know, what do you think of it? Are you looking forward to 2023 now more than ever? Thank you for watching this video. Please do like, subscribe and share, and join for more awesome Doctor Who content.